Yes, I'm almost done. Now, just one question as I sit down, Mr. Nguyo. You know, the retesting here is about mercury, not anything else. Correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And from your staff in Kebs, you know that mercury is a heavy metal. Correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You are aware, Mr. Nguyo, you know that mercury actually will last for hundreds of years.
I'm not aware, Your Honor, on the lifetime of mercury.
Proceed.
You don't? You are not aware that mercury lasts for hundreds of years. When Morira, you are head of laboratory, when he was talking about retesting here, this letter, it's you who signed this letter, isn't it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Morira doesn't mention mercury, does he?
No, Your Honor. Yes.
Have you asked him how long mercury would last without being diluted by weather elements, being dissipated? Have you asked him?
No, Your Honor, I haven't asked.
In your letter, you do not mention in this letter, you give the reasons for not complying with the court order as the possible changes because of the storage of the fertilizer. That's what Mulera is saying, isn't it?
Not, Your Honor.
Read it to the court.
These are not the reasons for not obeying the court order.
Read these reasons that he gives.
I can read out.
Yes, read out.
The Kenya Bureau of Standards would like to state the following as far as order to retest fertilizer is concerned.
As far as order to retest fertilizer, what does that communicate to you? Does it not communicate to you that what he is saying are his reasons for not retesting? He's mentioning retesting.
If the product is kept in stores for a long time, it may have several chemical changes, and it talks of microscopic properties and alternation of product properties, but has not said that that is the reason for not retesting.
So why were you writing this letter? Facts on retesting fertilizer. Your letter says fertilizer retesting. So Nguyo, I put it to you that in this letter, there was no mention about any tashwishi regarding what fertilizer was to be resampled and retested.
Your Honor, whereas it's not mentioned this letter is not specific to the request on this particular consignment, because as it is, this consignment for me is a no. This letter is not with respect to this particular consignment that in that product.
Why do you think your lawyer, the DPP, produced this letter in this particular case? This is the letter that was handed over to the court. You are now saying to the court that your letter related to some other fertilizer. Is that what you are telling the court?
The fertilizer that was indicated in the bill of lading, because this fertilizer in this product, we do not know for how long it's been there.
So you are.
Who asked you whether it was irrelevant how long it has been there? Like we must be.
No, that for me was internal consultation with my technical team. Yeah. So it's not because I was there.
How long has it been there when you were not enough to vote?
And you wrote to the DPP, and the letter was produced in court here. Mr. Nguyo, I put it to you that given the attitude you continue exhibiting in this honorable court, even if you are saying that you are prepared to comply with the orders of this court, the only appropriate punishment to you is to send you to Kamiti.
See, generally, look at your teeth. And you are told to do it again as a doctor. Would you be interested whether somebody tripped out there and broke some teeth? You are just interested in finding there and all the teeth intact today as opposed to yesterday. If there are issues, you can say this person went around frolicking in town and was knocked by wakoras. That's another thing. That will be an explanation of why the results are different today as opposed to tomorrow. But that is not what you are being asked.
Then, Your Honor, we are able to comply with the court orders, provided the court also gives facilitating orders. Because as the council has indicated, that consignment at which you by the shipping line only associated with a particular consignment at the point when you have the consignment by the ship and the document. Once the items leave the port of entry beyond the customs area, that particular bill of lading may not be essential now in identifying the goods. You get other identifiers. And what we are saying is that now when the order is given for us to test a consignment identified by a bill of lading, we would only be able to associate that order to a consignment if it were to be implemented at the port of entry, where you have a vessel and you have the commodity.
Now, Bernard, can you listen to my question? Nothing, fertilizer cannot leave the port of Kilindini without clearance from the Kenya Bureau of Standards. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
The order of this code, the orders of this code, was for you to retest fertilizer that came in under a particular bill of lading held at particular godowns. Is that correct?
That was the order, and that is what Your Honor.
Listen, just listen to my question, please. Is that correct? Yes or no?
That is the order, the wording of the order, and it's correct.
Do you have a second bill of lading by OCP Kenya showing that they brought additional fertilizer apart from the fertilizer, the subject of this bill of lading?
Not now, Your Honor.
So, Bernard, you are misleading this court in suggesting that this fertilizer could be different. I'm putting it to you, fertilizer 5,500 tons, 2,000 tons released, 3,500 tons locked on the 19th of June on the orders of Kebs.
No, Your Honor, I am not misleading the court. I am basically saying the identity of the fertilizer as given in the order could not be correlated with the fertilizer which we are directed to test.
Are you prepared, Bernard? Are you prepared to respect the orders of this court by going to test the fertilizer held in Boloe godowns, which was imported under this bill of lading? That is what the court order directs you to do.
I am prepared to give to respect the court order. Indeed, we do respect court orders. What I am asking the court to acknowledge, from our perspective as technical people, is that for a sample to be related with a consignment, there has to be an unbroken chain of custody. In this particular case, you have a consignment that we released with reference to a bill of lading. Location changes, time changes, the custody changes. We are having a problem saying that this is the same fertilizer that came by this bill of lading.
But no one has asked you to say all that. The order of the court is that you retest, you resample, and you retest the fertilizer held in Boloe warehouses, which came under the consignment of the particular bill of lading which is specified in the court order. What is your difficulty in doing that?
associating the bill of lading with the fertilizer in the order.
Associate the order of the court. The order of the court says this is a bill of lading. The fertilizer is held in Bolowe warehouses. What is the difficulty in testing that fertilizer in compliance with the court orders? The other matters, trying to create stories that you can do during the hearing. Right now, you obey the court orders. Bill of lading is there. The warehouses are there. You obey those court orders. Are you prepared to obey those court orders?
Your Honor, we are prepared to obey all orders that are given to us by court. However, the interpretation of the outcome of our action is something that the court should also take cognizance of.
Why? Why?
Because the way that the order is communicated is that this is the same fertilizer which we released by this bill of lading.
Do you see these photographs? You can see police officers.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you can see they are taking samples. You can see the bags here, or the fertilizer. You can see with your naked eyes. You can see Bolowe Logistics.
I can see.
Mr. Nguyo, I put it to you that the Muite agency team that included Kebs officials collected 2 bags of 50 kg each on the 19th of June 2020. 2018.
Your Honor, the case is put to me, but as I said, I am not aware.
You are not aware, in spite of being reminded by your own document here?
What I would need to know is to verify that document.
I put it to you, Bernard, that you are aware that this fertilizer was locked. This Muite agency team on the 19th of June put locks and seals on Bolowe warehouses where this fertilizer is kept.
Your Honor, I cannot refute that. What I'm saying is that for the documentation, I need to...
I'm not talking about documentation. Are you aware that the Muite agency team that collected the samples on the 19th of June 2018 sealed the godowns?
I am aware of the seals, I am aware of the Muite agency team. What I'm not aware of is the sample.
You are aware of the seals.
You are not aware of
the sample.
Has anybody told you that the seals have been broken?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Nguyo, as a reasonable, competent, acting managing director, have you asked your officers in Mombasa to go to Bolowe warehouses to inspect whether the seals have been broken?
Your Honor, that information I have, the seals have not been broken.
The seals are still intact. When this court gave orders for fresh samples to be taken and to be retested, did you instruct your Mombasa office to comply with the orders of this court by going there to facilitate the taking of the fresh samples?
Your Honor, for me to do that, based on the content of the order, the fertilizer to be sampled was described by a bill of lading number. we needed to be able to know this fertilizer by the bill of lading number, because the fertilizer that was described by that bill of lading number had been released long before. So linking the fertilizer that we were directed to the bill of lading number was not possible. So for me, I would not be able to direct officers to go and sample something that I know the court may not be properly advised on.
Bernard, the court is always properly advised. You are aware that the consignment of fertilizer in this bill of lading, as is shown by the bill of lading, was 5,448 tons. You are aware of that?
I am aware of that.
You are also aware that you're also aware you're also aware before you became MD, in a letter dated 1st of March, I'm looking at page 16 in our notice of motion, in our application. I'm looking at you can see this is a letter from Kebs. Correct? And it is addressed to OCP Kenya. And it says lifting of Kebs seal OCP compound fertilizer, entry number 6784061. Correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it says this is in reference to a letter of such and such, following resampling of the fertilizer on the 15th of February and subsequent testing against requirement of blah, 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 the levels of nitrogen and sulfur were found to be 16 and 6.8, while pH was 7.5 as per the attached test results certificate for the sample. In view of the above findings, the release under seal is hereby lifted and are therefore free to utilize the fertilizer. Now, Bernard, assist this court. The entire consignment was held under seal, 5,438 tons, until the 1st of March, when you said the seals could be lifted and OCP could sell. Correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And between the 1st of March and 19th of June, OCP, relying on this letter, sold 2,000 tons of fertilizer, leaving a balance of 3,400 and something, just under 3,500 tons, just under 3,500 tons, which was then locked again on the 19th of June and seals put again on the 19th of June, when Kebs said there was mercury in this fertilizer.
Your Honor, the difficulty I have with that is that this letter being quoted does not give us, one, the location of the fertilizer that is being spoken of, whether the fertilizer that is subject to this retest order is the same one that we had released.
Can you help the court by saying why you continue to hold this fertilizer under seal? If it is a different consignment, why are you holding it under seal?
Your Honor, the seals referenced in this letter are not the same.
Listen to my question. You just confirmed to the court that you know the seals have not been broken, correct?
But not the same seals, Your Honor. I do believe the court deserves to know the facts.
Just listen to my question. Yes, this is to answer my questions, Your Honor.
Not to put words in his mouth.
No, no.
The witness is
I'm
attempting to
Okay.
Yes, he needs to. So we need to be clear about the seats.
Resampling and retesting.
Your Honor, the reason why we failed because it was not possible for us to do so. One, the order given was for a retesting of a sample of fertilizer described by a BL number imported in 2017 and said to be in a particular warehouse.
As the acting MD of Kebs, you are responsible for all the operations of Kebs. And you have offices in Mombasa.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are aware that when fertilizer comes, it comes in bulk and bagged in the hull of the ship. You are aware of that?
I am aware in some cases no.
In this particular case, the documentation, Mr. Nguyo, shows that your officers in Mombasa went and collected samples from the consignment when the ship docked.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are they only allowed, your officers only allowed the ship to be offloaded and for the fertilizer to be bagged after the officers had taken the sample?
Yes, Your Honor.
So in the case of this particular consignment that is the subject matter of the attempted murder charges, you are aware the fertilizer came in the hull of the ship and bagged.
I am aware, Your Honor.
You're also aware that in this particular case of this fertilizer, after the bagging, the fertilizer in bags was placed in warehouses not to be released until you had done the test.
Not aware of that, Your Honor.
You are not. Have you gone through this file?
Some bits of it, Your Honor.
Do you want time to go through it thoroughly and come with the documents, Epana? Because what you are telling the court is not correct according to the documents produced.
I may need that, Your Honor.
Your Honor, this is so important. If he doesn't know and he wants time to go and study the file and come with the file, I would rather we did that. You can go and study that file today and come with it tomorrow. Do you want that?
I may not need that tomorrow, Your Honor. Just some time.
Look, do you recognize this document? This, you can see this is...
No, we kindly, my line senior should be kind enough just to show us what he is referring the witness to.
I'm referring him to his own document, Kenya Bureau of Standards.
I would also be opposing any application to broaden this matter to deal with matters that were not the main reason why the witness came.
What is the main reason?
The main reason why the witness came is to explain why the orders have not been obeyed.
Yes, but not to wish away the orders.
Not to wish away the orders, Your Honor, but
That is
from
very
what
critical.
I gather from my learned friend, he seems to be saying that there are matters that the witness does not know about.
He's saying he's not aware.
If the witness is not aware of those matters, then they have absolutely no bearing on the questions that are being put to him today, because he can only be in disobedience with regards to matters that he is aware of. Anything that he does not know has absolutely no bearing on his alleged failure to comply.
Just so that we do not argue and drag, you may get to Mr. Nguyo will get. He usually sits at his desk and oversees the operation of Kebs. If he oversees the operation of Kebs, he should know about the documents the Kebs issues. And secondly, there was some questions led by Mr. Muite on the whereabouts of the consignment. Therefore, that kind of question is critical. Whether we are looking at